everyone, I'm Lauren and welcome back to my channel. This is Light in Lavender, where we talk about all things books and my own writing journey. And today I've actually got a video about my writing journey and my book, Artefact 299. Today I wanted to go through the costs for my book and how much it cost me to publish this book. This is my first book that I have published myself. I'm hoping to be a self-published author, potentially maybe hybrid in the future, which means potentially pursuing traditional publishing at some point. But I thought with Artefact 299, with the style, the length, the type, I didn't think it would be one that would do well with traditional publishing, but it was a story that I really wanted to get out there and I wanted other people to be able to read. I may have also just wanted to see if people thought I was a good writer, but I think anyone who wants to write also has that feeling, so I don't feel too bad. I have got my laptop on my knee with me just to go through all the costings for this, because I am the sort of person who creates multiple spreadsheets, and yeah, my individual costs for my books is definitely one of them. I've also created a big sort of master spreadsheet of everything, but at the moment I just want to go through the costs for this particular book and I'll split it down by the categories. I will probably include a little table of whatever the from the spreadsheet here as well, just so you can see it, and we'll go through those costings together. I'll also make sure that any of the prices that I give are in pounds and in dollars. Some of the things that I bought were in pounds and some of them were in dollars, but they were converted when I paid for them, so I'm just going to give the price that I paid and the amount that was initially invoiced to me in the dollar amount, just to give you more of an understanding of how much I spent. And the places that I got my editing and covers from are inside the book, and I have credited those, but if you do want to know, leave me a comment down below and I will let you know where I got my cover from and where I also got my book editing done. The first category on my list is advertising. At the moment I have not spent anything on advertising, which is probably a bad thing. I've not really done much marketing. I'm not really sure what I need to do for marketing. It is something that I need to spend a lot more time on and delve into a little bit more, just so that I know what I'm doing. I don't want to put money into things that aren't going to work, and I don't want to make my investment on this book even bigger than it is without any chance of getting any potential returns from here. So it's not something that I've currently done, but in the future I would be tempted to do it. I've been looking into different ways that I can get some marketing done and what sort of ads I need to use, but again, it's not something that's a huge priority for me at the moment. I just want to write as much as I can to try and get my name out there so more people know about my works to buy my books that way. So the second category on my list is my book cover. I got this designed by someone in America. The costings for this were $279, and that included the ebook cover as well as the paperback wrap. So the paperback wrap includes the front, the back and the spine, rather than just a front cover. So I think, and I paid an additional $30 for that to get the Kindle version as well as the Ingram Spark version, because they do have slightly different sizings even though it was the same size book. But yes, I had to pay an extra $30 for that. My total costs for this in pounds was £210.70. I got quite a good exchange rate, I feel, on this, so it wasn't quite as much, even though I had been budgeting for everything in the dollar amount just to make sure that I could cover it with whatever the exchange rate was going to be and any fees that might have been associated with PayPal. So when I talk about the full wrap, this is what I mean. So this is my paperback cover, this is the full cover, the spine, which also matches, and then the back matter page as well, which includes who created the book, if anybody does want to know that. This is my full paperback wrap. I do really love this book. I really love the cover. I think it does really well. I've had some sales from it, so the cover and the blurb must be working at least a little bit. So, and I think it's the cover that is mainly catching people's attentions. I don't know, I just really love this cover. So this cost me $279 or £210.70. The next category on my list is editing. I paid $535 for this, and that included developmental, copy and proofreading, I think it was. So developmental edits, copy edits and proofreading. It did go through 3 different rounds. It was with the same person. I'm not sure if that's a usually done thing or not, but it's something that I did because it's the first time I've done it, and I'm not entirely sure if I should have mixed that up a little bit or not. I am potentially tempted to go with a different proofreader in future and just get developmental and copies done from the same person and find a different proofreader, but I'm not entirely sure on that, and I would need to find someone who I think would be able to add to that without making my expenses go too crazy. In pounds, I paid £402.33 for my editing. So again, my exchange rate was really good. Because I had this done as 3 rounds of edits, I did ask if I could make the payment for this in 3 separate payments. So one before the developmental edit started, one before the copy edit started, and one before the final proofreads were started. That did help split things up, and it also meant that I did get different exchange rates. I started my editing in June and it finished in October, with the proofread starting in September. So I did have a good few months of different exchange rates, and I think that did help to get me sort of like a better deal on the money that I was paying. Obviously, if you are paying in dollars, you won't get that, but it was helpful for me. The 4th category on my list is illustration. I have not had any character artwork done. I've not had any illustrations commissioned. At the moment, I'm not sure if this book is one that would need illustrations or character art. I'm not entirely sure. I would love it, because it is just one of those things that I can be like, look what I've got, this is my character. Because although I love the character on this front cover, she's not quite how I imagined Anna to be in the book, and yeah, I would like to just be able to get someone to just draw that for me. I'll be like, oh, this is her. The 5th category on my list is my ISBN. I had to use 2 ISBNs, one because I have got the ebook version and one for my paperbacks. If you look online, a lot of people tell you to just use the free ones from Amazon or Ingram Spark and not to bother paying for this. However, I wanted to be able to register this and to get my books into libraries if possible, so I wanted to have my own ISBN to make sure that everything was linked up fine, there was no issues, and I could do that, although I'm not quite sure how to do that at the moment. Surprise, surprise, but it is something that I want to be able to delve into at some point. The ISBNs were bought in a bulk of 10 from Nielsen in the UK. I did look up the equivalent of this in America. So in America, you buy your ISBNs from Bowker, and for 2 ISBNs from the American version, it works out at $59. So I've not used a currency conversion or exchange rate there. I've just done the 10 bulk that you can buy from Bowker divided by 5 and done the same with Nielsen. The next category on my list is travel. I feel like this would be useful if I was going to any events or doing any sort of trade shows, but it's not something that I feel like I will ever fill in on this category. I have kept it just in case I do in the future at some point get the chance to do this, because I want to keep a similar sort of template for each book that I produce. But at the moment, again, that's not something I think I can envision in my future. The next category on the list is proof copies. I ordered 1 proof copy from Ingram Spark. The copy that I ordered from Amazon was actually through my normal accounts rather than the accounts I'd set up for like my freelance and writing networks, so I can't include that, but it cost me £11 for that, and I think the equivalent for that was around $14.52, so it wasn't too much to get the proof copy, and it's useful to have just so you can see if the formatting is right and if the chapter headers match up, because I realised that I'd got stray, erroneous carriages returns at the start of all my headings, but not all of them, just the odd selection, which caused a bit of a headache to try and fix, but I did eventually manage to do that. But yeah, it was worth the £11, and I paid express shipping for that because I wanted to make sure I could get that copy in as soon as possible and I wasn't waiting too long for it before my book was released. And the final category I've got is miscellaneous. I've not had any sort of miscellaneous spending for this book, I think because it's the first one and I don't really know what I'm doing. I've kind of held myself back a little bit, so I'm not spending too much money. But yeah, I'm not really sure what would fall into this category. I just know that some things probably will in the future, so again, I've kept it much like the travel category that I've got on this list. So in total, I spent £656.83, which I don't think's bad to publish 1 book, and based on the Amazon Kindle royalty rate, which is about £2.07, I need to sell, I think it's 318 books to break even, and it's gonna take a while, let me just put it that way. But I don't think it is too bad. I was surprised I managed to get this under £1,000, and honestly, I know that I am so lucky to have been able to do this. I have a job where I can put some money aside each month to go towards any publishing costs, and as soon as I decided I wanted to get this self-published and I wanted to get this self-published for this year, I was able to siphon funds away from different savings goals just for this publishing aspect, although I will admit that it was a little tight at times to try and get this done, but it is something that I really wanted to do. The cost for this in dollars was around $887.52, so again, this was still under $1,000, which seems like a lot of money, but I just wanted to be able to put this video out there to show that if you want to self-publish a book, you can do this for relatively cheap. It might take a good few months to save up the money that you need, but I just wanted to show that you don't have to be mega rich or have loads of money to be able to do this. If you want to self-publish in the future, if you put like £20, $20 aside each month just to try and build that bit of cushion up for you to do that, then you've got it. And if you've got a savings account that actually gives you any money, that would be helpful, but mine is at like a 0.001% interest rate, which is appalling. So literally the only money I'm getting from this is what I can afford to put aside each month. You will notice that there is no formatting costs on my list, and that is because I did all of the formatting myself. I followed some guides by Bethany Atazada, who is another AuthorTube channel. I'll leave a link to her formatting playlist down below because honestly that was so helpful. That is what I used to format my book. I will show you. So just a quick peek of what my formatting looks like. I don't know what pages I'm on or what I'm showing, but this is the way that the book looks. And this was all from Bethany's videos on how to properly use Microsoft Word to do formatting. So if you've got access to Microsoft Word, then you've got access to a type of formatting device, which, although not the best admittedly, it does help, and it does help to reduce those costs down. Is formatting something I think I'll pay for in the future? Maybe. I guess it depends on how many books I'm able to write, but at the moment I didn't think it was something that I could justify when I could easily learn the skill to sort this out. I would potentially like to try and expand and maybe delve into InDesign myself and learn how to format on InDesign, just because again I'd like to be able to keep my costs as low as possible because it makes it easier with how much money I need to save, but that will be something that I have to decide in the future. So those were the costings for my book. I don't want to come on here to brag about how much I spent or how much I was able to put aside for this book. I just want to give that bit of extra information because I did find it really difficult to find anyone talking about how much it cost to actually get their own books published and to get their own books out there. Not a lot of people want to go into the actual figures and the actual numbers, but yeah, it is something that I think is needed. I think transparency with finances is something that everyone needs, and in my own sort of work life I'm always trying to push that sort of transparency because I think corporations like to not tell us how much we're getting paid to make sure that the wages stay as low as possible. So I'm always trying to just push that little bit of extra financial information on people. If this video is something that you liked and you enjoyed and you thought was useful, please let me know in a comment down below because I do enjoy making videos that can be used to help people. And if you want any more videos on how I publish my book, or if you've got any questions that you want to ask, please let me know in the comments down below or on any of my social media channels. I'll leave them all linked in the description down below as well. I'm always happy to answer questions that anyone has got. Although I might not have got all the answers, I might be able to help find them out for you as well. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like, and if you want to see more of my videos, don't forget to hit subscribe. There's a new one out every single week. I hope you're all well and you're all staying safe, and until next time, bye!